and affiliation.
Kimberly Chen with the California Pan-Ethnic Health Network, very much in support. Thank you.
Rebecca Gonzalez, National Association of Social Workers, California Chapter, in strong support.
Ray Burnell with the California Catholic Conference, in strong support of these children.
Kim Lewis with the California Coalition for Youth, in support.
Thank you. Any witnesses in opposition wish to speak? Seeing no witnesses in opposition, do any committee members wish to comment? Seeing no committee members, do we have a motion? Oh, what? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Thurman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually just want to thank the young people from the Youth Justice Coalition for sharing their personal story. And I hope that, and thank the author for bringing this bill. We should never criminalize young people. We should never criminalize anybody for living in poverty. And we work with young people all the time who cannot get to school because of financial costs. And we have students who live in shelters who persevere and do extremely well. And so I hope the committee will support this, but I especially want to thank the young people for sharing their personal stories and wish you well in your continued advocacy. Thank you very much for what you shared today.
Thank you, Mr. Thurman. Any other committee members? Seeing no committee members, do we have a motion? It's moved and seconded. The motion is due pass as amended to the Human Services Committee. If you could close, Ms. Campos.
Thank you. I am constantly reminded when I am in the presence of young people shouldn't have to be organizing to come and fight for their rights. I mean, we as policymakers and the state of California should be making sure that they are in school and not here in the Capitol having to fight for their rights to be able to have their education, an education that all Californians should have. That's their right. And I think that it is our responsibility as a state and as individuals to make sure that we're removing barriers. When we're, in the area that I live, Silicon Valley, a family that makes $840 a month and $70 for a pass, you do the math. So I respectfully ask for your aye vote and send a strong message that our youth are a priority for the state of California as well as their education.
Thank you, Ms. Campos. So the Secretary call the roll.
The motion is due pass as amended to Human Services. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Kim?
Aye.
Kim, aye. McCarty? Santiago? Thurman? Aye. Thurman, aye. Weber? Aye. Weber, aye.
The bill is out 5-2.
Thank you.
5-0, sorry.
But two
What do we got?
5-0, I'm sorry.
It is what?
2 absence, it's
5-0.
5-0.
I apologize. 5-0. Thank you. Ms. Bonilla, welcome. You may open.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Today we have AB 631, which asks that $1 billion would be allocated to local educational agencies to provide resources needed to deliver high-quality education to all students, support educators, and integrate technology in the classroom. We had the ability 2 years ago to allocate $1.25 billion, and the effect in our schools was very dramatic. Not only did it allow for Common Core and teachers to have the proper training, but it really raised the morale of our educators throughout the state, that here we were asking them to do huge new initiatives, but we were going to give them the resources necessary. We are in a position again where there are one-time monies within the Prop 98 funding, and this bill says that we need to continue that support of education because we're not done yet. We haven't finished our implementation of Common Core standards. On top of that, we have our next generation science standards and our English language development standards, which will prepare students with the skills and knowledge needed for college and career success and training. The new content standards and their accompanying computer-based assessments require districts to properly train teachers, update instructional materials, and increase the integration of technology. Based on the cost of implementing previous content standards, the Department of Education estimated the Common Core alone would cost $3 billion to successfully implement. However, since the standards were adopted, we've only gone as far as $1.25 billion dedicated solely to the implementation of Common Core. This year, in Governor Brown's January budget proposal, he included $1.1 billion to further the implementation of Common Core, but also that funding would offset outstanding mandate reimbursement claims owed to the districts. AB 631 builds upon the governor's proposal, but then adds to it an additional $1 billion to go to districts for teacher preparation and technology. An important distinction there is that in the monies that AB 631 would allocate would not be going towards mandate reimbursement claims. I know it's great for us here at the state to count a dollar twice and get it off our books, but it doesn't work as well when you're trying to buy something with that money. You can only spend it once. But also understand the need for mandates to be repaid, but think we have an incredible opportunity this year with our one-time funds in 98. The LAO projects general fund revenues to be $1 to $2 billion higher than what was estimated by the governor due to increased tax revenues, almost all of which will end up in Prop 98. The state has made a strong commitment to new content standards with the understanding that their adoption would provide a higher quality of education for students, and it's important to honor our commitment, not only make a goal, but actually fund it so that we're able to achieve it for our educators and for our students as well. And today I have Sarah Bachez with me, who represents the sponsor of the bill, the Association of California School Administrators, and Andrea DeVoe representing TechNet.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. I'm Sarah Bachez with the Association of California School Administrators, here in support of AB 631. ACTS is very appreciative of the legislature and the governor's recognition to invest $1.25 billion into the 2013 budget for Common Core implementation costs. The state had recognized in previous standard implementation $3 billion, and so your commitment is moving us in the right direction. We're here today to support Assemblymember Bonilla's continued efforts to ensure that schools have the necessary resources to properly implement not just Common Core, but also the next generation science standards, which will require schools to upgrade our equipment and facilities in order to properly move this curriculum forward. ACTS surveyed 272 school districts on the expenditure of the $1.25 billion, as well as the continuing need. And the survey recognizes that we generally do need additional resources in professional development, instructional materials, and IT, because it's crucial to ensure that all our educators, not just teachers, but also our administrators, fully understand how to assess and administer the assessment of these materials and instructional curriculum. But we want to make sure that we're providing all our students the appropriate textbooks and instructional materials, the classroom space that will lead to a successful attainment of the skills of the workforce for the 21st century. So we urge your support for AB 631 to ensure that our educators and schools are prepared to implement the new Common Core state standards as well as next generation science standards. And we will be able to provide that survey report hopefully in the next week as we're finalizing the final counts on the data. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. Based off the long line of support, I will try to keep my comments brief, but this is a very important initiative. My name is Andrea DeVoe. I'm the Executive Director for TechNet. On behalf of TechNet, which represents 70 members in all fields of technology and innovation, we are pleased to support AB 631 and thank Assemblywoman Bonilla for her leadership on such an important issue. We have a collective purpose, and that is for California to compete and lead in the global economy. In order for California students to pursue expanding employment opportunities, they must have a solid K-12 education that prepares them for college and careers. Consider this statistic. As early as 2013, more than a quarter of senior executives rated technological transformation, that was a mouthful, as a matter of survival, and more than 3/4 regarded technological transformation as critical to their organizations within the next 2 years, which brings us to today in 2015. So why, despite the spread sense of urgency, do 20% or 90% of companies today still lack the skills they need? The short answer, of course, is that as demand for talent continues to rise across all industries, the number of graduates that have the core competencies and appropriate skill sets has fallen far behind. AB 631 is the measure that will help us bridge this gap and bring the appropriately educated and trained students to today's technology and innovation workforce. Today's students are preparing to enter a world in which colleges and businesses are more demanding than ever. The new content standards are essential to ensuring all students are equipped with the core competencies needed by the technology industry in the 21st century. The Common Core and Next Generation Science standards will not be successfully implemented without adequate funding, which is why we strongly support AB 631. I will leave it at that and let my colleagues also testify in strong support. Thank you for the reasons stated. TechNet strongly supports AB 631 and respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Ron Rapp, speaking on behalf of the 100,000 members of the California Federation of Teachers, and speaking in strong support of AB 631. As you know, teachers in California are currently in the process of integrating the Common Core standards into their curriculum and radically changing the way they teach. In addition, they are working diligently on aligning their curriculum and pedagogy to the Common Core standards and the new Smarter Balance assessments. In addition, teachers are faced with implementing the Next Generation Science standards and the English Language Development standards. The enormous workload that this represents has created a tremendous need for teachers to be provided with high-quality professional development and the accompanying instructional materials necessary for them to effectively implement these new standards and revise their teaching strategies required to teach to them. It is for these reasons that CFT strongly supports AB 631 and urges your aye vote. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Suzanne Goldstein. I'm with the California STEM Learning Network. And CSLNet brings together hundreds of organizations from around the state who are from all different sectors, K-12 education, higher education, business, philanthropy, community organizations that are working in various ways to strengthen STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math education throughout the state. We strongly support this bill and agree with the other speakers in terms of the importance, the tremendous opportunity that our new standards offer for strengthening education, especially in the critical areas of math and science, and that as with any relatively new effort, and certainly our science standards, the districts are just getting started around that work, that there are major startup costs associated with that transition, and that this one-time funding is really critical to help districts accomplish that work. So we urge you to support this bill.
Thank you. Any other members or any other individuals wish to testify in support? Just please state your name, your position, your affiliation.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association in support.
Deborah Brown with Children Now in support.
Kara Bush with Tech America. I'd like to echo the comments made by my colleague at TechNet in support. Thank you.
Peter Schilla with California Association for Bilingual Education. This is a vital bill. We hope you support.
Ian Padilla with the Coalition for Adequate School Housing in strong support.
Leangela Reed on behalf of the California Educational Technology Professionals Association, SEPTA, thankfully, and the Small School Districts Association in support.
Kim Lewis now with the Corporation for Education Network Initiatives in California, CNEC in support.
Leticia Garcia with Riverside County Schools in support.
Shelley Spiegel-Coleman with Californians Together in support.
Patty Herrera representing the Corona Norco Unified School District in support.
Brian Rivas on behalf of the Education Trust West in support.
Jessica Sacco on behalf of the California Science Teachers Association in support.
Ray Burnell with California Catholic Conference in support.
Good afternoon. Liz Guillen with Public Advocates. We haven't taken a position yet, but we have submitted a letter to the author expressing some concerns that we have. While we support the concept
Thank you. You haven't taken a position, just so you can state your name and your affiliation.
Yes, thank you. Liz Guillen with Public Advocates.
Thank you. Any persons in opposition, please come forward. Seeing no persons in opposition, any members of the committee wish to comment?
Move the bill. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I do have a comment, and that is I think this is great, and I fully support it. Just one thing I think we need to focus on is giving teachers more tools in the classroom to be successful in the Common Core methodology, if you will. I don't think those tools are available right now. In fact, I know they're not. I think some people think they are up here, but I can tell you down on the ground in the classrooms, they don't have those tools to be successful. They can't print out the questions. They can't give their children access to the questions so they can learn, that style of answering, responding, learning. So I think that's something we really need to focus on as a body up here, but as a state as well. So thank you. With that, we have a motion. Would you like to close, Ms. Boney?
Yes, and I just want to reiterate that there's a public process involved in the expenditure plans if this money does go out to districts where the school board, the public, the parents, the teachers are able to know what the plan is. And also there is a reporting back mechanism as well. So we know where the money has gone and don't just have to assume. I mean, really, it's I don't think there's a lot of question that it's needed money, but it's wonderful to know that there are actually outcomes that we can ask districts to provide to us as well. And with that, I would ask for your support. Thank you.